This season preview is brought to you by Manscaped's brand new Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. This luxurious lather cleanses and nourishes in just one step. Using coconut water, green tea, and aloe, this non-greasy daily formula is naturally hydrating and rich in antioxidants to revitalize the look and feel of your hair. So head on over to manscaped.com and use the promo code SACCITY for 20% off and free worldwide shipping. The new Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner from Manscaped. Take care of hair everywhere.
It's time to dive into the New England Patriots season preview. You already see it in Aaron's background. It's Mac Jones. It's Bill Belichek. We're going to be talking about them, their offense, the defense, what to watch for. We've got schedule predictions. We've got odds. We got prop bets. And, of course, the Sac City preseason power rankings, which are really starting to fill out. Aaron, there is only one place to start when we're talking the New England Patriots. We have two teams that we are controversially viewed on YouTube for. It's the Tennessee Titans and it's the New England Patriots for some chatter about Mac Jones that you have been strongly behind, and we're going to start right there. You've been pretty negative on Mac Jones and the New England Patriots. What does Mac Jones have to do this season to make you think differently, and maybe reiterate your stance on Mac Jones before you get into that?
Well, I mean, I don't plan on reiterating my stance on Mac Jones because I don't really think it's about Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones, I told you guys, I never thought he would be a franchise guy. I thought he could come in the NFL and he could play or whatever, but I never looked at him and was like, oh, that's a franchise quarterback. He played at Alabama. They always have talent there. It's easy to put up numbers there, and he did it. He put up a lot of good numbers there. But we watched a team last year in the New England Patriots that didn't trust a young quarterback. And in the NFL in today's game, I get it. They wanted to run the ball and play good defense. And you know what that did? That got them 10 wins, a trip to the playoffs, and then they got their ass whooped by the Buffalo Bills because they didn't have a quarterback that can go out, make throws, and win games. I'm not saying Mac Jones is inaccurate because he is, but he's not mobile. And what that does in today's NFL, he is basically a statue back there. So he has to beat you with his arm. There are very few quarterbacks in the NFL right now that just stand back there and beat you with their arm. The guys that do it, it's Aaron Rodgers, it's Matt Stafford, it's Tom Brady. It's the guys that have been in the league for 10, 12 years that have been balling out, that understand how to read defenses, and that their coach trusts. Bill Belichick did not trust Mac Jones. I mean, it's as simple as that. He did not trust him. There was a game where he threw the ball 2 times. I don't care. In today's NFL, that does not happen. I don't care how windy it is. I don't care if it's raining. And they won the game. They actually won that game. But it told me all I needed to know about Mac Jones, which was they did not trust him to go and win games. And when he needed to in the playoffs, you saw what happened. He could not keep up with Josh Allen and that Bills offense. And don't get me wrong, he doesn't have the weapons. The defense is going to be weaker this year than it was last year. The offensive line isn't as good. This team right now, the reason people are getting upset at me on YouTube is because they are living off of the Patriots of the past. What Belichick has done before, the genius of Belichick. I'm sorry, guys. He doesn't have Tom Brady. Tom Brady has now proven he went to a different team and won. Bill Belichick no longer has Tom Brady. It's not the same team. It's not the same team. So from a Mac Jones perspective, he has to find ways to beat teams with his arm. I don't know that he has the weapons to do it. And unfortunately, I don't think that's his game. I think he's a game manager in the NFL. And unfortunately, that's not going to work with their team.
I think with this season and particularly with Mac Jones, to kind of prove it to everybody here, or I guess I should say prove it to the non-believers, you have to see him go out. Like we said it's similar to what we've said with like Trevor Lawrence. Like you have to go out, and maybe it's a little bit different for Mac Jones here because of the level of where we think the Patriots should be. Mac Jones should be winning you games. That's where Mac Jones should be at here with this Patriots team. I get it. He doesn't have the talent around him, but the way this Patriots team is set up with Bill Belichick, like that's what you need from Mac Jones. You need to start seeing him win football games for them and not having – there was 2 games last season where he didn't even throw 20 passes, and guess what? They won both of those. And like you said, Aaron, that shows you enough that this New England Patriots team doesn't necessarily need Mac Jones to win those games in the regular season, which kind of signifies to me like Bill Belichick is going to might keep doing that during the regular season, where it's like we're not gonna force Mac Jones to win us games if he doesn't go out, if he doesn't throw that much.
You can't afford to do that though.
But that's what I'm saying. It's going to end up costing them in the end, because we're going to see another season where, I mean, I saw the playoff odds. We have our prop bets coming up in a little bit, but the playoff odds for the New England Patriots, I'm pretty sure it's plus money to take the Patriots going to make the playoffs. They're at plus 160 to make the playoffs. So it's the odds right now are not in favor of the Patriots even making the playoffs this year. So if they want any team. If they want any chance to make the playoffs, and we're talking about that offense right now, it runs through that offense. You have to have that offense step up if you want to change those odds and you want to make the playoffs, especially in this ridiculously tough AFC now, not to mention a much tougher AFC East with the Jets growing, the Dolphins getting much better, and the cream of the crop, the Buffalo Bills.
They're arguably the 12th best team in the AFC. And I'm not joking about that. Like, you could argue that they're the 12th best team in the AFC. Every team in the AFC West, every team in the AFC North. Maybe you could argue Pittsburgh, but even then, right now, from
Indianapolis.
Then you have Indianapolis, and then you go to the AFC East and you have the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. And that's not even putting the Jets up there. So they are arguably a bottom 4 to 5 team in bottom 6 team in their own conference. Let's just say that.
Yes, I mean, it's as simple as that. They're not even in the top 10 of the best AFC teams in the league, and it's a.
Why was everybody so impressed with Mac Jones last year? 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, 13 picks. He had a QBR that was middle of the pack. QBR was behind Carson Wentz, was behind Ryan Tannehill. It was, and those are guys we made fun of, behind Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know why people were so obsessed with Mac Jones, and I get it. They went on that win streak, but that win streak wasn't that impressive. It really wasn't. And so I don't know. We talked about the Miami Dolphins win streak, how, they didn't beat anybody. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. Mac Jones was doing the same thing, taking advantage of his defense, running game, winning games that he should win, and then they got the Buffalo game when it was stupid windy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this season, I mean, we're going to talk about what to watch for in a little bit, but spoiler alert, it's going to be this offense, and it's going to be revolving around Mac Jones and figuring out a way for him to be able to step up and go win them games. Well, actually, that might not be a spoiler alert. I just realized I have you doing the what to watch for, so maybe you have something different. Let's go over to the defense side of the ball. We know what the defense is. We know what the defense has been. They obviously lost J.C. Jackson this past offseason, which is a big blow to their secondary. Aaron, what do you expect to see from this defense this year?
Yeah, I think they'll be good because I think that's Belichick's specialty, but they're definitely not as talented as they used to be, right? Losing a lockdown corner like J.C. Jackson hurts. Not having some of those players, the Kyle Van Noy's when he left, and some of those veterans there are gone. Obviously, Matt Judon and those guys are good. Christian Barmore played really well last year, I thought. The defense will be good because Belichick always has a pretty solid defense. But that defense is going to be on the field a lot because they don't have explosive playmakers, and they're going to have to hold teams down far more than they would like to. And I think that's going to be the ultimate problem is, can this defense hold up for 17 games when their offense isn't producing the high volume of points that they're going to need to be doing, especially in the AFC with all these potent offenses. It's not just good teams in the AFC. It's the Chiefs and the Chargers and the Raiders and the Broncos all have elite quarterbacks and great offensive weapons. And then you throw in the NFC North or AFC North. Those guys have elite offenses with elite quarterbacks. That's the problem, is those guys are going to find ways to score points against you. Your defense can't hold up against them all the time. So how is Mac Jones going to answer that? So that defense has to be off the field. That is the only way this defense is going to be putting up those top 10 defensive numbers that we're used to seeing from New England.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that they can hold long enough to keep the pay? That was one of the things last year I feel like we saw a lot too, especially during their win streak, like you mentioned before. Their defense kind of holding it all together. When you're facing these, and we're going to go into the schedule in just a few moments, but when you're facing some of the teams that they have on their schedule, I mean, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy just to hold off those high-powered offenses. You can say just about every just about every team in the AFC this year upgraded their offense. I'd say like Jackson, even the shitty team, like Jacksonville upgraded their offense. Houston upgraded their offense. Then you look at the big dogs who actually really upgraded their offense in Kansas City, Denver. Those guys, I mean, it's going to be hard. It is going to be very hard for this New England Patriots defense to be good. Now, you said that it's kind of been their specialty, obviously, with the Bill Belichek era. Their defense has been their go-to. Where do you think they fall at the end of the season in terms of rankings?
Middle of the pack. Last year they were number 2 scoring defense in the NFL. A lot of that had to do with that pass defense. They only gave up 187 yards passing a game. And a lot of that had to do with J.C. Jackson. They've never been a team that's really gets to the quarterback a lot, right? They just play really, really good, sound football. I think that stays the same. But they weren't very good against the run last year. I don't think they got better against the run. And then now they've fallen off a little bit against the pass. I think they'll finish middle of the pack. And if you're points-wise, somewhere along the lines of 22, 23 points a game, maybe giving up, maybe 21. And then when you're talking about yards total given up, it could vary. I think they could end up being given up 320, 330 yards a game. And I think that's going to be middle of the pack.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially, again, you go back to the all the offenses in this AFC and on the Patriots schedule, it's not going to be easy to go up against these guys, especially if you have to play the Bills twice and then you have to play the Dolphins twice. I mean, that's 4 games right there against very high-powered offenses. Obviously, we haven't seen what the Dolphins offense is going to fully look like. We'll dive into that in a little bit, but it's going to be tough for this defense.
Dropped 48 in preseason.
Exactly. So with that being said, what are you watching for this year for the New England Patriots? What's the one thing?
This is going to be so off base. This is going to be so far different than what we've done in the past with this what to watch for segment. What I'm actually watching for with the New England Patriots this year is their fans. I want their fans to just be realistic and come to the realization that this is not the New England Patriots from 2000 to 2020. Like, it's not the same team. There is no more Tom Brady. He's gone. Belichek is there, but this is not the same New England Patriots team. So those expectations that we have of the Patriots and that mindset that we have of like, oh my God, they're going to be Super Bowl contenders, we have to eliminate that. As a Patriots fan, you have to sit down and just be realistic and look at that roster, and you tell me how that stacks up to 20 other teams in the NFL. And I guarantee if you're looking at it position by position, it doesn't stack up. So I'm looking for their fans to get off of the 7 championships or 6 championships that they won in that time frame and just be realistic so we don't have to have these midseason conversations when they go out and win 3 games in a row that the Patriots are Super Bowl contenders like we said last year. Because the minute Mac Jones went on that win streak, everybody, all NFL analysts on every platform you can think of started to mention their name as AFC championship and Super Bowl contenders. And I thought it was laughable then. And then when you watch the playoff game, everybody knew it was laughable because they did not belong on the same field as the Buffalo Bills.
I thought it was laughable when ESPN, AJ said it in our group chat, ESPN was talking about Mac Jones being an MVP candidate or a Super Bowl MVP candidate or something along those lines. And then I guess they were basing it off of like the other rookie quarterbacks in that draft and like which one will be the soonest. But like, I don't want to hear Mac Jones' name ever with an MVP conversation. Okay.
You're going to do a lot more than 22 touchdowns and 13 interceptions and a 10-7 record.
Exactly. Okay, let's get into our prop bets. And we have Mac Jones, of course, listed on our Patriots prop bets, but we do also have a lot of plus money here. Under 8.5 wins for the Patriots is at plus 100. Under 23.5 Mac Jones passing touchdowns is at plus 105. And over 8.5 rushing touchdowns for Damian Harris is at plus 100. We haven't really mentioned Damian Harris's name, and he obviously was a big part of that offense last year with 15 touchdowns for this team and really just leading the way. So Aaron, which lock is yours on this Patriots prop bet list?
Yeah, I'll take Damian Harris in the over 8.5 touchdowns. I do think he's going to get in the end zone a number of times, despite them saying they want to throw the ball more. I think they're a run-first football team built on play action, and hopefully that can disguise some things or scheme some things up to get guys open, because you're not going to find Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar winning one-on-one matchups consistently. Jacoby Myers is decent, but he's not a playmaker like that. The only playmaker they really have on the outside is Devontae Parker, and he seems to be injured every other game. So if he can stay healthy, that'll help them significantly, adding in the tight ends of Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. But Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson are going to be the guys that they're going to lean heavily on, especially when they get around that red zone. You'll see Hunter Henry in the red zone, but I think Damian Harris gets more than 8.5 touchdowns, probably slated for about 10 this year.
Okay. It's obviously in terms of fantasy purposes, that's touchdown regression, but still very, very good year for touchdowns if you're at or around that number. With the schedule for the New England Patriots, it looks like this. A lot of tough matchups here. You look Miami, the division matchups twice a year. And then you've got Baltimore, Green Bay, you've got Indianapolis. I mean, they have a lot of tough games on the schedule. What games are and this is actually a new question I've posed to you for schedule. What are the must-win games for the New England Patriots this year, looking at their schedule? Which games do they have to win?
They have to beat every team. That's not a real question I can answer. I mean, the back half of their schedule is like an impossible schedule. Yeah. Like that schedule is tough. That from the Minnesota Vikings through the Buffalo Bills, that week, 11 or 12, yeah. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, yeah, 12 to 18 to go at Minnesota, Buffalo, Arizona, Raiders, Bengals, Dolphins, and Bills. Good luck.
And they're on the road for those games. They're at Arizona, at Vegas, at Buffalo, at Minnesota.
Good luck. Yeah. Good luck down that stretch, because they're probably. I'll tell you right now. I have them winning games early. I have them starting 5-3, getting off to a good start. But then that back half is just too much for them. I only have them beating the Jets, and then I do have them beating the Dolphins at home. But that stretch between Minnesota and Cincinnati, and then Buffalo at the end of the season. It's brutal, man, and it's not. Those are just more talented teams than the New England Patriots. So can they steal one? Perhaps. Can they steal a couple? Maybe. But even if they steal a couple of those games, I'll give my record now. I have them going 7-10. If they steal a couple, they're 9-8. Like that at best, and I'm telling you that's at best. Last year they were 10-7. It's still a step backwards. And then again, having to go, even if they snuck into the playoffs. And again, I'm giving them credit. Say you sneak into the playoffs. Are you beating Baltimore? Are you beating Buffalo? Are you beating Cincinnati, Kansas City, the Chargers, Denver? No. Indianapolis? No.
Patriot fans are not going to like hearing that, but it's the truth. And it's going to be it would be tough. Anything is, you can go to the old saying, anything is possible, but it is going to be tough. I also have them at a 7-10 record here. I think, like you said, it's just that end of the schedule is.
I mean, they're lucky Deshaun Watson got suspended 6 games or whatever, 11 games.
11 games, yeah. Yeah, that would have been been tough. I mean, even with the front half of the schedule, I mean, is it crazy to say Pittsburgh can beat them at home in week 2? The
Patriots could be 0-4 going to Detroit. Or playing against Detroit at home. They could.
Exactly. They could be 0-4 going up against Detroit, and then they could win against Detroit, win against Cleveland, win against Chicago. The New York Jets isn't a gimme game in week 8 at New York. I mean, obviously
even then 4-4, you give them 4-4, then good luck down the stretch.
Yeah, it's not a favorable. Like, even if Patriots fans want to say they have a good team, this schedule is extremely tough for you guys to get through with a team that, you have to be honest with yourself, is not better than a lot of these teams. So it's going to be tough for the New England Patriots. You and I both have them at 7-10. Let's reveal where we have them in our preseason power rankings.
Yeah, we talked about it. Again, Mac Jones just being kind of a middle-of-the-road guy. The defense, the running game, but the lack of explosiveness on the outside keeps this team from reaching any kind of heights beyond anything else. So I have them around there, and we got them as a consensus around 22. So they are number 22 to start the season. Could that change? Could they go up with a good start? Absolutely. But preseason, we are concerned about the New England Patriots and how they're going to overcome some of those deficiencies and some of those lack of offense. And they fall at number 22 on the Sac City preseason power rankings.
It's very funny we have them falling right around that Tennessee Titans range, where it's just like those teams that
on that's the same thing we said about Tennessee, right?
Yep. And everyone's all high and mighty, not high and mighty, but like they're much higher on those two teams, and we're got to be honest. You got to be honest with your thoughts on these teams. And
can anybody really envision the Tennessee Titans or the New England Patriots winning or going to a Super Bowl this season with the rosters they have?
There
is no chance in hell.